The EU has officially launched an in-depth probe into the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So we have an update here on what is going on with the Activision Blizzard acquisition by Xbox, and this time it is from the EU. We know that currently right now the British Market Authority is into phase 2. We've seen all of the documents that have come out. We've seen Sony's complaints and the fact that the CMA is out there really trying to look at how this deal could potentially affect Sony. They mentioned foreclosure multiple times in their documents, thinking that Xbox may actually try to foreclose PlayStation and Sony by getting Activision Blizzard. And now the EU is going into phase 2 as they are increasing their investigation, citing similar reasons as to why they are doing this. So it's officially been announced that EU has launched an in-depth probe into Microsoft's proposed Activision Blizzard acquisition. Not a huge surprise. This is a $68.7 billion acquisition, and they're going to be looking at everything to make sure that this deal doesn't create an anti-competitive environment. They say here the commission is concerned that the proposed acquisition may reduce competition in the markets for the distribution of console and personal computers, video games, and for PC operating systems. Now, they have an in-depth reasoning as to why they're looking at this. And again, a lot of the reasoning is basically the same stuff that the CMA said. Doesn't really make too much sense if you're somebody that has followed the industry and you are looking at some of the stuff that Xbox and Phil Spencer has said. But hey, they definitely want to take their chances and look at it and see if there's any merit to some of these claims. And they do talk about protecting other companies, protecting the PC market, and they have to make a final decision by March 23rd, 2023. So they get 90 days to figure all of this out. But in the preliminary investigations, here are some of the stuff that they came to the conclusion of. They say here, in particular, the commission is concerned that by acquiring Activision Blizzard, Microsoft may foreclose access to Activision Blizzard's console and PC video games, especially to high-profile and highly successful games, so-called AAA games such as Call of Duty. And again, they are really referencing Call of Duty here, and we just saw the amount of money that Call of Duty made in 10 days. The $1 billion, beating all of the previous Call of Duties, which I think personally puts even more spotlight on what is going on right now with the investigations, more scrutiny on this deal, because they are seeing just how much money there is in there and how big of an effect this will have on companies like PlayStation, even though Xbox has said that they are going to be keeping Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform. So the accusations that they may take it off, that they may try to foreclose other companies with games like Call of Duty, as of right now, we know that is not at all Xbox's intention. Continues on here to say the preliminary investigation suggests that Microsoft may have the ability as well as potential economic incentive to engage in foreclosure strategies vis-a-vis Microsoft's rival distributors of console video games. And when I say that, they're saying PlayStation, they're saying Nintendo with the Nintendo Switch and whatever they have coming out in the future. But really, when they focus on Call of Duty, they are focusing on PlayStation. Continues here to say, such as preventing these companies from distributing Activision Blizzard's console video games on consoles or degrading the terms and conditions for their use of access to these video games. Which I agree in the sense that if they actually went out and degraded some of these games so they run worse, play worse, have exclusive content missions that are only available on the Xbox side of things, would be bad for the video game industry. But I don't see Xbox doing that whatsoever. I mean, we've seen PlayStation do this. We've seen the Hogwarts Legacy example where they have exclusive quests on the PlayStation version that other players aren't going to be able to experience. And to me, that is a degradation of that game in particular on other platforms. Next here, they say when it comes to multi-game subscription services and/or cloud game streaming services in particular, the commission is concerned that by acquiring Activision Blizzard, Microsoft may foreclose access to the detriment of its rival distributors of console and PC video games that offer such services to its own PC and console video games, which are key for the provision of the nascent service of multi-game subscription and cloud gaming streaming. So this is, again, the cloud debate, the cloud argument, because Xbox Cloud Gaming is by far the best service out there right now when it comes to cloud gaming. Game Pass is the best subscription service out there, and they believe that if they get this deal, they are going to be able to completely close out any competition from competing with those services, because they are going to have games that they're just only going to be on Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Cloud Gaming, which will make it almost impossible for anybody to compete. Something I completely disagree with, especially when you look at PlayStation. They have the IPs, they have the games right in front of them to be able to compete with Xbox Game Pass, which is their first party games. You put those into the service and you will see that competition highly increase. I mean, we even just look at PlayStation's with their subscription numbers in their last report. They've been falling. And one of the reasons that they have been falling probably is because there is not enough people that see more value with signing up to a $15 or $17.99 subscription service with PlayStation with the exclusion of their first-party games. Continues on here saying such foreclosure strategies could reduce competition in the markets for the distribution of console and PC video games, leading to higher prices, lower quality, and less innovation for console game distributors, which may in turn be passed on to consumers. And very well could be something that if they decide to do it, they own Call of Duty and they decide we are keeping Call of Duty only on Xbox, they could raise the prices for it and people will go out and buy it. And they could lower the quality of it and make the games worse if they really wanted to do that all at the same time by making them more expensive. I don't think that they would even think about doing that. But we have examples of the higher prices when you look at PlayStation and the fact that they raised their prices for their first party games to $10. PlayStation is the only place you can play these games, which means that consumers are going to bite that bullet and they are going to go out and pay that extra $10. And then finally, they talk about some of the PC stuff here. And this part doesn't make any sense if they've paid any attention as to what has been happening with Apple and Microsoft. They say you're finally at this stage of the investigation. The commission has concerns that the proposed acquisition may reduce competition on the market for PC operating systems. In particular, the commission is concerned that Microsoft may reduce the ability of rival providers of PC operating systems to compete with Microsoft's operating system Windows. By combining Activision's Blizzard's games and Microsoft's distribution of games via cloud streaming to Windows, this would discourage users to buy non-Windows PCs. Preliminary investigations suggest that Microsoft may have the ability as well as potential economic incentive to engage in such conduct vis-a-vis rival providers of PC operating systems. And why I don't think this is a really valid complaint, you take a look at what has happened with Game Pass and cloud gaming and Apple, and how Xbox, Microsoft have been trying to get Game Pass on to Apple products, and Apple has been blocking it, so much so that Xbox made a workaround where you can access the stuff via the browser. So in absolutely no way would Xbox want to try to get people on Apple to go out and have to buy a PC in order to pick up Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Cloud Gaming. They don't want that. They just want Game Pass accessible on all of the different devices. I don't think they have an incentive here with Game Pass in order to just stomp out other forms of non-Windows PCs. Sure, they want people to be playing on Windows. That's like their main goal. It's a huge part of the Microsoft business. But if they really didn't want to take advantage of people on other operating systems, would they have spent all of that money to develop the workaround for the Apple products? So this is all similar stuff that the CMA is looking at. Nothing really new here in terms of what they are investigating, why they are investigating it. And I mean, Phil Spencer has come out and said that these investigations are fair and warranted. So you have to take his word for it as to what is going on and if this is something to be concerned about, if this deal will go through or not. I have no idea. It may get blocked, it may not, but at the end of the day, it is such a huge deal. So it does make sense now that they are looking further into this type of stuff. And I think that from the beginning of this process, people had predicted that it would close by March 2023, and it looks like it is directly on course to hit those predictions. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think about the EU moving to the next phase and the reasonings within their first phase as to why they want to continue to investigate this deal? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you are new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.